Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 17th of March, comes to you from London. And first thing I've noticed this morning is the oil price is up 4.4%. That's the candle there, finding support around this level. So interesting how that trend, prices go haywire, come back to the trend. And that's just very interesting for the oil price. And in fact, that means that we are seeing this tussle going on. We've got a downside target, we've got an upside target that's activated, plus 47% to the upside, minus 43% to the downside. New lows would activate that downside target, of course, while the upside one is activated. So that's just a sign of the volatility that we're dealing with longer term in the oil price. Is quite interesting. Taking a look at markets, quite a bit of green on the screen. Looking at the dollar, we're down slightly. Remembering this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart, my long-term, medium-term, and short-term view of the market with the corresponding point and VIX targets. So the euro is back above the 110 level, which is good news. Short term, we're back to bullish above the cloud, but we did go below that 110 level, and the market will probably remember that. We've still got a downside target to 1.07. So we're not out of the woods yet for the euro by any stretch. Looking at sterling, we're a bit stronger there as well, as the dollar just recedes a little, back to touching the 132 level this morning. Looking a little bit better. Of course, interest rate expectations today. The Federal Reserve put up interest rates yesterday in the US, and UK. We're all waiting this morning for interest rates. Will it be a 0.25%? That's the most likely scenario. Doing nothing is almost certainly not going to happen. 0.05%, half a percent increase could be on the cards. Who knows? That might just shock the market a little bit. But fact is, we are going to see interest rates rising now. Looking at Bitcoin, we're holding the $40,000 mark, still short-term bullish. Not enough yet to cross the cloud, finding long-term cloud support there. The S&P 500 index up 2% yesterday, so really quite sharp recovery there. Back to short-term bullish there above the cloud. We've got an upside target, but we do have these multiple downside targets, and of course the big one still activated. So until we make a new high, we're at risk of making the lower high, lower low scenario. So that's, and in fact we kind of did that here. We've got the lower high and then a lower low scenario that shows up more clearly on the daily chart. Here's the lower high, here's the lower low. So until that's reversed and we can get back above that high level at 4,600 on the S&P, markets are still essentially in a new downtrend. Looking at the S&P 500 E-mini, we are seeing that slightly down this morning. The same with the Nasdaq. So US market set to open slightly lower, digesting the Federal Reserve comments. Not so much the rate rise yesterday, but the fact now that we're going to see several rises this year. The VIX volatility is back under control. It's back at sort of 27 points. Short-term bearish, which is good for the market, of course. If the VIX goes down, the fear index is lower, the market is taking more in its stride, but we are still seeing this gradual trend up in the VIX, which isn't great for markets. The DAX in Germany is down slightly this morning. Got to get back above the 15,000 mark, which was the previous level of support. Be a big surprise if it did that. We do have an upside target. The downside target was met, which is bearish confirmation. So the DAX is definitely not out of the wood yet. Japan was up 2.6%. But the big story is Hong Kong. It was up 7% again yesterday. So we have really seen that market just rocket off the bottom. And quite interesting there that we've got that sort of bullish engulfing candle potentially on the weekly. Of course, the week isn't finished yet. So very interesting to see that big move there. The Aussie market was up 1% as well. We'll look at the energy mix in a minute. Just looking at some of the soft commodities, stronger this morning. Sugar up 1.5%, wheat up 0.3%, and corn up 1.2%. And again, just testing this previous high that we saw in 2021, but the trend is very, very much up there. No clear targets to play for on corn, so it's just a little bit harder to read. Gold seems to have found the bottom at 1900, back to that support level. We aren't yet short-term bullish, but the longer term targets, of course, are still there. Silver is up strongly. Palladium, Russia being a third of the global palladium production, has been quite volatile and it's up 1.3% this morning. And copper is actually up 1.4%. Still did make a new all-time high, got lots of upside targets there. This commodities round is not done. And US 10-year yields down this morning, taking the Fed news in its stride. It'll be interesting to see where we go next. Watch for new targets. Taking a look at the energy mix, we just talked about crude. Looking at it on the charts, we've just got to cross through this cloud here. So that's quite key. We've got upside targets that have kind of been met this morning, so we need to see some more. This is going to give us a new target as well. One thing you can do on your system, if you press the V key, you can go and this column is not yet finished, but there's a potential 10% upside target on that column once it is finished. And of course, the higher it goes, the bigger that target gets. Looking at US nat gas, that's looking stronger this morning. We had our clients as bullish. Above 480, we'd be very bullish. Coal is sitting at 163. That's pulled back after the volatility. They're really quite interesting there. And emissions are lower this morning, having put in some new downside targets. If you're trading carbon, these 1-minute charts are absolutely essential. Gas prices are up this morning. TTF up 3.4%, and MBP is also higher as well. And looking at German power, up 2% here. So looking a little bit better. New upside target. Watching these on your OTC charts will be key. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.